Finding a lot of old material that some of it I'd forgotten I'd saved, and I'm watching these old videos, and you can hardly believe that these news stories actually happened. They're just so ridiculous. Anyway, this was mid 2021, and the jab rollout was failing spectacularly. And in that program, young people were due to come online to take it. And of course, people would have observed, particularly young people, oh, I'm not sick. I don't know anyone that's sick. And all you hear about deaths is that someone in their 90s at an aged care home died. You probably would have died anyway. Why would I take it?
Beginning when the COVID Delta strain was different, it spreads at a more rapid pace, and despite the best efforts of contact tracers, has managed to plunge Sydney into a 2-week lockdown.
Oh, these lockdowns seem like a distant memory. You can't forget them, no. You have to remember them. They had troops and cops everywhere, and they're so careful with the words that they use, because Carl there says the Delta has managed to plunge Sydney into lockdown. Well, virus doesn't write health orders.
New South Wales Agriculture Minister Adam Marshall and 25-year-old Emily Troyan are among those who caught this strain of COVID, and they say their symptoms are horrific. They both join us now in Sydney.
Horrific? I mean, say burns to 90% of someone's body. That's horrific. 10 broken bones is horrific. Not sure about describing, having the flu.
Nice to talk to both of you this morning. Thanks for your time. Adam, first to you. Can you just describe to us the symptoms that you experienced?
Yeah, sure. It's akin, as I've said, to like being hit by a bus. The first few days was fine, no symptoms, and then suddenly, bang, very severe flu-like symptoms.
Yeah, well, it is actually the flu. Flu can hit you pretty hard. No surprises so far.
Some fevers, freezing cold, shivering, and then sweating. And just sore all over. But for me, the worst impact's just been the absolute sapping of energy, just wanting to sleep all the time.
So all he's doing is just rattling off what most people experience once every couple of years, or sometimes a couple of years in a row. I've had the flu, sometimes really bad. I've never had anyone say, hey, do you want to go on and whinge about it for a couple of minutes on TV? What?
Even the most menial tasks like making the bed or getting up and making a cup of tea is just, feels like you've just been running a marathon and have to lay down for another hour or two. So.
Oh, wait on. He's got my sympathy now. That's a vicious loop. You can see what's going on here, can't you? He said, you just get so tired from making the bed, and then you're going to go back to bed for 2 or 3 hours. So he's getting up. God, just make the bed. Oh, I'm too tired. I've got to go back to bed. Gets up. Oh, just make the bed. Oh, wait on, I'm too tired. He's trapped. Never-ending loop. He can't escape.
It's just been quite debilitating and quite eye-opening for me that a lot of people seem still a bit blasé about the impacts of COVID.
Well, not anymore. Yeah. I mean, how did you break that cycle? The vicious cycle.
And I can assure them that it certainly knocked me for 6, and I'm a person in my mid-30s and very, very healthy.
Healthy with an F? Those teleprompter writers. I mean, how hard is it?
Look, I think that's such a wonderful point to make, given, what happened with you last week and the circumstances in which you got this. We're glad that you're okay. What are you doing to deal with it at the moment?
Well, he just said he's okay. Then he says, well, what are you doing to deal with it? To deal with being okay? I mean, the guy's fully recovered. Oh, maybe he's suffering psychological damage from being in a cycle. He's probably, like, when he goes to go to bed, he just has fucking flashbacks.
Well, it's getting a little bit better, Carl, each and every day, getting a little bit stronger. Yesterday, I managed to get through a whole day without having to have a nap.
Well, that's a relief. Thanks for letting us know that you didn't have to have a nap. What's his story about again?
Which for me is small victories. And look, I've got plenty to do. I've got FaceTime, I'm catching up with my partner Shannon all the time, and all my work colleagues and friends, family, and I've got a laptop here, so a little bit of work as well, but trying to get better and rest up.
That's a message to all you young people. This could have happened to you,
Emily, you seem to have caught the virus from the same restaurant as Adam.
Really? It's got like a 1 to 2 week incubation period. He definitely got it from the same fucking restaurant. All right, let's hear Emily's COVID tale of woe.
Can you just describe to us how you've been feeling this past week?
Yeah, I'd say it's almost identical to Adam. I feel like I've been hit like a truck as well.
Well, first of all, he said he got hit by a bus, not a truck. What do you mean hit like a truck? Or is she imagining herself as a truck? Because that's the only way she could frame how this COVID. They got to sack the fucking teleprompter guy.
My symptoms started really small. It started with a headache and it just escalated into, I guess, having all the symptoms under the sun.
Every symptom under the sun? Well, you got to come here for that. This is Health Direct, Australian Government symptoms checker. I mean, anal bleeding, arm injury, blocked airway, blacked out, black eye. This goes on forever. This is every symptom under the sun. She have all of this. Influenza. Well, it sounds like she had that.
Especially with nausea and vomiting, which I've been really struggling with. And now I've completely lost my taste and my smell.
Oh, that well-worn lie, the taste and smell. For some reason, they thought that'd scare people.
So, yeah, it's really hit me hard too.
What would you say to people out there? I mean, there seems to be, as Adam pointed out, a little bit of a blasé attitude amongst the community, some elements of the community. What would you say?
Yeah, look at Carl. So he keeps his own notes. He's been caught out by that teleprompter writer one too many times. Like a truck. Healthy.
To those people out there who aren't taking the necessary precautions about this virus?
Yeah, I'd say it's not a cold, it's not a flu, it's not influenza A, it's COVID-19.
Well, influenza A is actually influenza. Now, she said she had the identical symptoms to Adam, which he listed off here, ticked them off one by one, including the terrible fatigue he had. So I'm not sure what she's... I mean, it's a synonym for the flu, which she means, though, it's not the flu when it's exactly the flu. So here's what government says. When should I seek medical advice? Well, most people can manage COVID-19 at home, as they did. It's horrific and they weren't in hospital. What about those who are in hospital? More than horrific. I'm not sure how that's possible. I mean, couldn't they have, gone to the hospitals and said, which young people have been in hospital with COVID? We'll speak to one of them and let people know how dangerous it is. Probably because no young person has ever been in hospital with it.
And if it can hit me this hard at 25.
Yeah, all right. Well, we know you're 25. It's been mentioned a couple of times now.
It's not something anyone wants. Just do the right thing. Be careful. Wear your mask. Go get tested when you need to get tested.
Now, the only way I could think that they found her was by the contact tracing that she was at the same restaurant as Adam. See, they probably had limited, candidates to come on here and operate in tandem with him. So she was probably the best of them. Did you get sick? Oh, not really. Can you say you got sick? We'll give you some money.
And just make sure you're protecting your loved ones in the community.
Did it surprise you how, I mean, we look at that pizza restaurant where you both attended. We're assuming that's where you both contracted the virus.
That pizza restaurant you were in? I mean, pizza, they're everywhere. I mean, was it back then? As soon as they found out someone at a restaurant had it, they'd let everyone know on the news. Go and get yourself tested. Go and isolate. They're not naming this restaurant for some reason. So I don't know, like say, even if they just said, oh, look, George's Pizza in Balmain, or a pizza, they don't even name the suburb. I mean, they worried someone's going to go down there and go, was that a marshal ever in here? Who?
Of just how easily or how quickly it is transmissible?
Oh, so surprised by it. It was the last thing you think. You were going to pick up meeting with a friend for dinner. My friend also contracted the virus. It shocked me. But look, if it's that easy to catch, people really need to be on high alert and people need to stay home.
Well, as Carl said, people are in lockdown because of people like you going to restaurants. They just introduced her as Emily. They don't say anything about where she works or what she does or her qualifications, but they haven't said she's a doctor. But she's just talked about, how transmissible it is just from going to a restaurant and her and one of her friends got it. It's deadly. You gotta stay home. You got to do all these things. This is my advice. Yeah. What are your qualifications? See, there's no, like I said in the last couple of videos, there's no evidence been presented in any legal setting that there's even a virus, let alone get down to transmissibility. But here's your evidence. Listen to Emily, everyone. She's speaking to Carl and Ali.
Adam, I know that you're in lockdown now, in isolation. When you do look around Sydney, I know that Sydney-siders are answering the call, and I know that they are too in Queensland this morning to get tested, and also some of those vaccinations. But
Carl slipped in vaccinations there. You're not doing this story because all these young people are not worried about it.
Do you think it needs to be tighter, the restrictions, given how easily this thing spreads?
Well, what's he asking him about? Health intervention measures that, impact people greatly. I mean, you need to put a lot of thought into that. I mean, you need to have medical professionals, teams of medical professionals. If you're going to affect millions of people, you got to have research, documentation, evidence, perhaps presented at a budget estimates. Oh, yeah, that didn't work. Oh, so that's why you've got this guy. Oh, okay, this is your evidence. Right, same as Emily.
Well, I think the restrictions now are very, very tight. I can't see much of Sydney outside my window. I just see the brick wall of another building. But
what's he mentioned? He's got a. Oh, yeah, that's right. They like the lollipop at the jabs that Ali did. You got to insert some little byline that gives you the chance to let out a chuckle because you try not to laugh. Deepest delight. Otherwise, you could end up with millions of people are in lockdown. Yeah, that might be a bad look.
Look, everyone seems to be responding pretty well.
Well, he can't make that statement. He just said he can't see anyone.
I think Emily's point's a good one. People, regardless of the restrictions, people just need to take a lot of responsibility themselves and wear their masks and do the right thing. And I know some people complain and say, oh, gee, some of these restrictions are a bit draconian.
Oh, it's only a bit draconian, is it? It's not a lot like it was. Anyway, he's right there, you fucking whingers. Lost your job or your small business. He couldn't even get out of bed.
But I can assure you that they are there for very good measure. And the last thing you want is to get COVID. As Emily said, she's 25, I'm 35.
Oh, you might not have picked up on it, but he's 35 and Emily's 25. Are you getting it? She's 25. What happened to her? Although she looks like she's perfectly okay.
And the impacts are severe. And in my case, anyway, I never brushed anyone. I came into physical contact sitting in that restaurant. Didn't even go to the bathroom in the restaurant. So,
well, that's 100% true. Because if you never went to a restaurant as you're describing, of course you can't go to the bathroom or do anything else. And there's a caption of what he said just a couple of seconds ago. I've never. So when you insert some truth into a load of bullshit, you can go too far. So he had to check himself.
The catching it is very, very easy. This new strain is quite virulent and from first-hand experience, incredibly contagious.
And Adam, had you been vaccinated?
Well, they touched on it, but they took a while to get right to it. Here we go.
No, unfortunately, I'm ineligible to be vaccinated because of my age. So I'm very interested in the Prime Minister's announcement last night or the other day about AstraZeneca, and I'm looking to get information. Look, I'd be happy to get any jab rather than having to wait possibly until next year.
I mean, the timing's incredible. These two young people, 35 and 25, who've just been, they look quite okay. Did they even have anything? But they say they did. It was horrific. Remember, Ali used horrific. Yeah, he wants to get the jab to make sure it doesn't happen again. Make sure that he never again is forced to have a nap.
The way it's going to get Pfizer, I think the rollout's been an absolute shambles, to be honest, let's be frank. And we've got to pick up our game because every time we have major outbreaks like this, we have outbreaks in the context of a community that is almost entirely unvaccinated.
Oh, he's so disappointed in us. Why don't you go and get jabbed? This is before they started threatening people with their jobs. Hence, nobody was taking it. I mean, why would you for medical reasons? There was no reason.
And from my perspective, that's not good enough.
Well, you're a walking, talking ambassador for what we should be doing.
Oh, yeah. You need ambassadors in times of health crisis. You don't need doctors and professionals producing evidence. You just need someone going, I couldn't get out of bed.
We appreciate your time, though. Look, we're glad you're both okay and look, doing the best you can. We wish you all the very best in the coming days and weeks.
Oh, true to form, consistent with the whole fucking shit show. Not just this interview, everything. Finishes off with a contradiction. I'm glad you're okay. We'll do the best you can. We wish you well, as if they're somehow still sick. Now, this was the ABC's is in August 2021. I think this might have been a couple of weeks, and all young people had just decided, yeah, it's not for me. They started more of this fear-mongering. Why Delta COVID variant could put younger people at risk of deadly cardiac complications. Well, that wasn't one of the symptoms listed, although, of course, it did turn out to be quite prophetic. But that was after the jab program, not before it. All right, that's it for this one. I just felt like making a good old-fashioned video like I used to quite a while ago. I actually quite enjoyed this one. If you made it this far, thanks for hanging in there. All right, that's it for this one.